Well, welcome back. We've seen Frank Schleck take the stage. These are the beautiful Alps here. We've dropped into the valley for the finish in the Grand Bornand today after a ride of 105 miles from nearby Bourg Saint-Maurice. We've crossed some of the big mountains of the region, and we've seen a duo battle in the Tour de France. The yellow jersey coming home there. Let's have a look back then at how the day has gone in our Cadillac Performance highlights. Sprint number 1 today, that was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? But for Thor Hushovd, he joined the breakaway and dropped them all on the climb of the Cormet de Roseland descent, the descent of the Col de Saisy. And the result was at Prat, he was taking 6 points, and he was very, very pleased about that. And then on the way down the mountains, slick roads there, terrific bike handling, he stayed upright. One or two riders didn't, because on the similar bend, they fell down. That was Chiruka on the floor and Denis Menchov, the winner of the Tour of Italy, also on the floor. He just got back on in time to fall off again. It hasn't been the Tour of Denis Menchov. That's his 3rd crash of the Tour. And we think he had to change of bikes there as he got back on the road with his jersey slightly tarnished from the fall. And he had to rejoin the breakaway up front, which he did. Out on climb number 3, this is where it was all happening for Thor Hushovd. This was the Col d'Arrache. And he conquered the climb here, which was unusual to see a man wearing the sprinter's jersey taking out 2 mountains on the early stages of today's Tour. Pelazzotti was sweeping up from the rest and increasing his lead, almost unassailable now in the King of the Mountains competition. Astana were keeping control of all the favourites. At Cluses, with 43 kilometres to go, Thor Hushovd was getting the only other points offered out on course today. So he now has 12 valuable points in the green jersey competition. Rapidly joined as he left Cluses by Carlos Berrido. And then we're on to now climb number 4. This was the vicious climb. Berrido was soon falling to the back. This was the giant Col de Rome. Not so high, but very, very steep. Jürgen van den Broek, he tried to get away and reach the finish in the Grand Bornand first, but this was now the battle for superiority. Frank Schleck was the man to launch the attack to soften the field. A quick reaction by Lance Armstrong, and still with them Rigoberto Urán was also there. Put on the defensive for a little while. Lance Armstrong once again was always marking Frank Schleck, and he kicked again. Lance just rose to the occasion, straight onto his back wheel. The riders ahead were in fact the remnants of the early day breakaway. The yellow jersey of Contador waiting for Andy Schleck to make a move, saw it coming, jumped on him. This was the great battle of the Rhum. Andreas Kloden went forward. Schleck knew now he had to keep on pushing. I'm not so sure he believed he could get rid of Contador, but he wanted to get rid, of course, of Bradley Wiggins. And when Bradley was on the defensive, the race split up again. Bradley was now left at the back as Frank Schleck was free to join the front runners. Armstrong held faithful to the team. He rode on the wheel of Bradley Wiggins, waiting, biding his time. Frank Schleck joined the leaders and quickly went to the front as the pacemakers. This was the steepest climb of the day. Contador never really looked in trouble at all. And then it was all going wrong. Christian van der Velde, who'd done so much good work, couldn't match it anymore, and he dropped off. Well, now Bradley Wiggins was isolated, just Lance Armstrong with him. At the top of the climb, Frank Schleck was leading over the mountain with 29 kilometres left to ride. Andy Schleck was over in 2nd place, and the shadow was there too of Alberto Contador. Just a few seconds behind that Nibali goes over. Van der Velde had fought back and was now with his teammate Bradley Wiggins. A pat on the back, he's got to keep up because Van der Velde was running out of energy. This was a duo battle now, and as this time Van der Velde would not return to the breakaway as they headed onto the climb of the Col de la Colombière. Then there was a move, and it came from Alberto Contador, but instead of getting rid of the Schlecks, it was about to get rid of their man Andreas Kloden. That wasn't the way it should have been, I'm sure. Kloden dropped off, the Schleck brothers got together. The Isle of Man flag on the right has got 3 legs, that's why Cavendish is so good in the sprint. And up came the leaders. The 2 Schleck brothers had nailed back Alberto Contador, who was now confused. What has happened to Andreas Kloden? He was left now to lose ground for the rest of the stage. So now it was 2 against 1. One wouldn't work, the yellow jersey of Contador, as they came to the top of the Col de la Colombière, but the other 2 kept piling on the pressure. Yes, they couldn't get rid of Alberto Contador, but they were breaking the spirit of Bradley Wiggins. Lance Armstrong now decided to leave him, and quickly chasing after Armstrong was Nibali. Poor old Bradley Wiggins was now totally isolated to lose time, and he may have lost too much time to recover tomorrow in the time trial. Armstrong over the top of the last climb of the day, now free to chase down the mountain after his own teammate Andreas Klöden. Armstrong is still a great descender, and he's also a great race reader. Andreas Klöden was riding about 30 seconds in front of Armstrong. Nibali came up and joined Lance Armstrong, looked at him and said, "Are you coming with me?" The three leaders, though, continue the descent down into the finish at Le Grand Bornand. And we think now they've made an arrangement. At least Contador decided they had worked so hard to rid everybody of themselves, he gave them the race. And Frank Schleck took it, Contador second, Andy Schleck was third. It was a Luxembourg sandwich. They picked up, indeed, Andreas Klöden on the run into the finish. Armstrong quickly sprinting across to his wheel, and in the end Klöden was dropped on the run-in, and Lance gave best in the sprint to Nibali, who has slipped away a distant second now in the white jersey competition. A few more seconds lost for Klöden at the line too. But this was the story. The two Schleck brothers had said they would attack. They did, and there's only one man they couldn't rid themselves of. And for this too, they did it for the injured Jens Voigt, who crashed out of the Tour de France yesterday. So that's our Cadillac Performance highlights. What a day of racing. All of the great names of this year's Tour de France working so hard to get victory. The winning today going to Frank Schleck, just under 5 hours, same time as Contador, same time as brother Andy. Nibali comes in at 2:18, behind him and in the same time is Lance Armstrong. A little bit further down, Andreas Klöden docked a few seconds, 2:27 for him. Wiggins has lost quite a lot of time, 3 minutes 7 seconds there. Christophe Moreau found his legs at last, 8th, 4:09 for him. Van der Velde knows how to fight in a Tour. He still came home in 9th place, 4:09. Remy Poiriol, who was in the break all day, still came home in 10th at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. These